Welcome, welcome, welcome everyone to the Black Men Heal Summit. I'm your host, Aerica Karriem. The goal for the Black Men Heal Summit is to create healing amongst Black men all over the world. Our goal also is to help you become a better man, a better husband, a better father, businessman, and friend. The definition of insanity is doing the same things over and over and over again, expecting a different result. Not gonna happen. Black men, we need you. We need your love. We need your unity. We need you to jump on board, get the healing. It's time to go deep so that we can unite with our families. So today I have the pleasure, the absolute ultimate pleasure. I am so honored to have Mr. Bruce George here. Mr. George, thank you, thank you, thank you for coming on here with me today.
Thank you very much, Aerica, for having me. I want to shout out the 100 Black Men Heal Summit. I think this is very important. So it's a genius for you to come up with that. And so for everybody that's affiliated with it, I salute you, giving you my flowers, as they say. I want to thank Dr. Stan Harris for connecting you and I together. I really appreciate that. And first and foremost, I would like to thank the good Lord for blessing us to be here, because without his blessings, we wouldn't be here. So thank you very much for having me. I'm excited to be here, and I'm looking forward to contributing to your amazing summit.
Thank you so much. So tell everyone about who you are in your own words, and what has your career been like so far?
Okay. Thank you for the question. I'm a lover of God, child of God. My work is my ministry. I'm a social activist. I was born in Harlem, raised in the Bronx. I lived in Brooklyn for over 15 years. I'm a New Yorker to the umpteenth percentile. I'm right brain and left brain, but I'm classic right brain. And I study every day, all the time, in between my work. I specialize in psychology, philosophy, classic literature, neurolinguistic programming, metaphysics, body language, the law of attraction. I specialize in power. I'm a wordsmith, word engineer, and a master codologist. 3 legacies under my belt I'm blessed with. I was one of the founders of Deaf Poetry Jam on HBO with Russell Simmons. And then my Geniusiscommon movement, which basically is about taking the elitism out of the word genius. Thus, we are an anti-elitist movement. We have a presence in all 50 states, 15 countries, with 35 ambassadors and growing. And then the Bandana Republic. I'm the founder of the Bandana Republic. It's a literary anthology by gang members and their affiliates. A poetry, prose, and short stories and quotes and interviews from gang members, gang leaders, and those affiliated. Some people that know me know I was in a hurt business. Come out of gang culture, been in 4 of them, very wild and brazen. But God has blessed me to turn my life around, and I created the Bandana Republic as a way to unite gangs under one literary umbrella, which is the Bandana Republic, and it's been very successful. So that's me. That's the abridged version.
Yes, I love it. I love it.
Thank you.
So tell everyone, why did you decide to join the Black Men Heal Summit with all the other amazing, powerful, impactful men?
Well, because, being African-American, as Ozzie Davis said, he said, being an African-American, however, implies there's something at the core of your existence is in crisis mode or will be at some point in life. He said, all struggle is between the power to resist and the power to oppress. It was James Baldwin that said to be Black in America, to be angry all the time. Right? And I wrote a quote where I said, Black rage equals 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Angry white males below 0. They cannot compare their anger to our rage in terms of what we've gone through. And so, just by dint of who I am as a person of so-called color, we're in struggle. And there's a quote that says, everybody's hurting and healing from something. And so I fit into that. And so I joined the 100 Black Men Heal Summit because of the fact that this is about creating dialogue. This is where it starts, creating dialogue among my brethren to be able to transparently speak about our struggles and trials and tribulations and how we were able to overcome them terms of what our process is. And so that's what I'm about. That's why I joined.
Oh, that's so amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So let's jump right in. So tell us about a hardship that you had in your life, and that you had to overcome.
Okay. Well, basically, one of the hardships that I had to overcome is just being in an inner city, coming from New York. When you come from a major metropolitan city, that's challenging in and of itself. Every city has its own code of how you comport yourself. And if you don't comport yourself in the right way, then you will get eliminated, And so, you learn street codes, you learn street knowledge and all of those different things. So as I was growing up, very, very angry, didn't have my father in my life. God bless him, I've forgiven him, but, as a result of that, hurt people, Susan Taylor said it in Business Magazine. So I was really in the hurt business, hurting my own people, fighting, doing things to my own people that I'm not ashamed of. I don't regret, nor am I ashamed of it though, because I don't do shame. I'm under grace. I'm not under Mosaic law. So I don't do the shame thing. But you just feel a sense of remorse for the things that you've done. And by God's grace, he has forgiven me. And so just being in gang life, it's one of the things that I really felt the sense that, it was wrong for me to be in gang life. We did a lot of things, and I'm not going to incriminate myself, but we did things that really hurt our own people and set upon our own people, right? And so by God's grace, I was able to be saved from that and get out of that. But not just get out of it and keep pushing. I was able to get out of it and then go and reach out to people that's in gang culture to let them know, listen, all have fallen short of the glory of God. There's not one of us that's righteous, not one. God says that righteousness is as filthy rags. So that's one thing I had to overcome. Another thing I had to overcome was the fact that a lot of the jobs I had really wasn't financially solvent for me. So I've gone through being displaced 4 or 5 times. No, it was about 4 times I was displaced. And that was rough, but I was never homeless, praise God. A lot of people will say they're homeless. Listen, if you are sleeping in your car, you're not homeless. Your car is your home, right? You have a roof over your head. As long as you have a roof over your head, you're not homeless, right? So, I was never homeless, but I was displaced several times. And it was always, and I'm proud to say there was always somebody that was there to look out for me. And it was a Black woman, started with my mother. Okay, so there was always a Black, and that's why I respect my Black sister, my brethren, my sister. And I respect them and love them because they were very much there for me. I started with my mother. So being displaced several times, you had to overcome that and work through that. When you're with someone, you're living with someone, there's challenges to that. You're dealing with their personality, they're dealing with your personality, and women are hypergamous by nature. So after a while, that gets kind of tiring, right? They're like, yo, you don't have your own. After a while, it starts to get tiring, but God bless the child that got his own, right? And so I had to go through that and negotiate through that. But thank God I'm in a good space now, and I'm no longer in that situation. So that was very challenging for me to be able to have to negotiate going from one place or one location to another and doing the whole Airbnb, B&B, whatever you call it, Airbnb, and having to go through all of those different things. But by God's grace, I was able to turn it around and get myself together.
That is so wonderful. So
I
want to share, I want you to share, because you was a gangbanger, you've helped gangbangers. What is the most common thing that you see that causes people to get inside of a gang? Is it they need family?
Yeah,
Is it
family, not having that, not having our father or fathers in the family, the nuclear family, is so damaging. I wrote a quote that said, fatherless sons cries on the inside, dies on the inside, with lumping throat, chokes on abandonment, and throws up gang signs, right? And so by not having the father in our lives, not having a father in our lives, and not having that support system, you don't know how to navigate the shark-infested waters in the world. You don't know how to deal with men. So when you're around other men, you're tight, you're angry, you don't know how to really comport yourself. So what do we resort to? Violence. Because you don't know how to be nice. Because niceness will get you killed, right? There's certain codes and certain things to negotiate. But if we had a father in our lives that gave us that stability, he would say, listen, you don't have to prove anything, right? You don't have to walk around with a chip on your shoulder. Everybody's not your enemy. Everybody's not trying to do you harm. You know, the devil is a liar. You know, I didn't have that in my life. So I had to kind of like learn that through my brethren, my fellow brethren. And there is a stereotype in gangs. You know, not all gangs are killing and robbing. You know, within gangs, they are doing a lot of things for the community. You have gangs that are doing things for the community, protecting the community. You got a lot of them that are politicized. So a lot of them are activists that have turned violence and switched that around and turned it into something positive, where they will get their gang members and gang leaders to become more politicized, right? King Tone, he was a part of a leader of the Latin Kings, the New York chapter, the Almighty Latin King and Queen Nation. He turned his life around. He's a motivational speaker now, so salute King Tone. But he turned his life around, and he was getting, when he was a leader in the Latin Kings, he was working towards getting them to be more politicized, you know, to become more active and helping the community with food drives and all these different things. And that goes across all gangs. They're doing this, but the media is not gonna, you know, show you that, because they don't want to show any, they don't want to shine anything, any light, any positive light on things dealing with gangs or gang culture or gang life.
Right, right. So I want to ask, because I'm going to throw a twist here, and I'm doing it intentionally.
I love twists.
You love twists, okay. So there's so many dynamic women that will share with their sons. Son, don't do that. You can stand and be a good person without going that route. Mm-hmm. So what's the difference between the mother saying it and the father saying it, you think?
Because a mother can't raise a child, a boy, a young man to be a man. You know, a mother cannot raise the boy to be a man, plain and simple. She can be as alpha all day as she wants to, but she just doesn't have it in her, because men and women are different. You know, men and women are different. You know, Reverend A.R. Bernard said the best. He said men and women are different ontologically. They're the same ontologically, but they're different functionally. So we have different functions. So there's certain things that a man cannot do in terms of raising his daughter, right? A man cannot raise a daughter to be a woman, like a woman cannot raise a son to be a man, because there's certain things that we just don't have it in us to be able to do those things, right? But I salute all those women that are doing the best they can to protect their children, specifically, you know, we're talking about Black men, Black boys rather, you know, to protect them as much as they can. And they kind of have to get alphaed up, you know, they have to be a little on the alpha side, or a lot on the alpha side, and be a little strong army with them. But that young boy will still resist that. Oftentimes they will resist that, and it would be for naught, because they're not a man. So they're not gonna really, they'll out of respect for their mother, they'll kind of like, you know, comport to her wishes somewhat. But as soon as she's out of sight, out of mind, and they're back to doing what they want to do.
Oh, gotcha. Out of sight, out of mind. They back at it. Okay. Right. That's good to know. That's good to know. So I want to know about that aha moment where you said, things have got to change. I got to stop, and I got to stop right now. I don't want to be a gangbanger. I don't want to do this no more. I don't want to be a part of that life, right? So what was your aha moment, that wake up moment?
A wake up moment was, I went to Samuel Gompers High School in the South Bronx. It was now do the math, in terms of testosterone, it was an all boys school, high school in the South Bronx. Nothing but Blacks and Puerto Ricans at the time. And you can only imagine, and it was built like a prison. It looked like a prison. There's a lot of testosterone, a lot of violence, right? I got kicked out of there for inciting a riot between the Blacks and Puerto Ricans. You know, I incited a riot. and they were shooting, stabbing, all of that. And instead of me going to jail, I went to Job Corps. And that was a aha moment for me because I was going down the wrong road. So I want to shout out Job Corps. I didn't realize that it's a home, that Job Corps is a home. I thought it was just a job facility type thing, but it's really a home for boys and this co-ed too, boys and girls. So that was an aha moment for me because when I got to Job Corps, I had all this New York in me, all this testosterone in me. So I was fighting, punching windows out, selling drugs, setting fires, the broom closets, because in Job Corps, if you get in trouble, you get hours of work. So I was, okay, you're gonna give me hours of work, I'm gonna set this damn broom closet on fire. I was bugging,
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that was an aha moment for me because I realized that if I keep going the way I was going, that eventually I would be dead or in jail the rest of my life. And so I chose to be alive and stay alive. So while I was there, our aha moment was for me when I came across some brothers that were part of the 5% Nation of Gods and Earths, which is an offshoot of the nation of Islam, right? It was an offshoot of Islam. And so that forced me to have discipline. That when I had given me that spiritual discipline and that religious discipline, that really was an aha moment for me because I was awakened for the first time that, you know what, I had to have knowledge of self. And by me having knowledge of self, that enabled me to not stop doing the things I was doing, no more smoking, no more drinking, no more getting high. So that really disciplined me. And then when I graduated from there, by God's grace, I became a Muslim, a Sunni Muslim, an Orthodox Sunni Muslim. I'm not a Muslim anymore, but I became a Sunni Orthodox Muslim, which further had given me discipline, and one thing led to the other. So that's how I was able to gain some type of discipline from that aha moment, or aha moments, if you will.
Absolutely, absolutely. So tell everybody, because we heard you say in the beginning that you worked with Russell Simmons. And I don't want to get off here without asking you, first, maybe someone has a idea or they want to become get in the industry of entertainment. What would you tell them that they need to do? What should they go to New York? Should they, we always hear it's LA or New York or possibly Atlanta, right? So what is your suggestions if they're like right out of high school?
Well, my suggestion is, first of all, you need to know exactly what your calling is. Don't get into something because it's popular. Don't get into something because everybody else is doing it. Don't get into something because it makes a lot of money. Yeah, you'll make a lot of money and you'll be miserable doing it. You see, God has this amazing sense of humor, Aerica, that he gives us the so-called free will to do what we want to do, but the fine print reason so you do what I instilled in you to do, you'll never be happy and you'll never have purpose, right? So get into something that really sits right with your spirit. Get into something that you are passionate about. And when you are passionate about it, study it, do as well as you can, learn everything you can about that field. Eat, almost damn near eat, drink, sleep, and breathe it without becoming it, right? Frederick Douglass said it best. He said, power conceives nothing without a demand, never did it, never will. So it's important for you to, whatever your calling is to learn your calling. And if you do it well enough, you don't have to go anywhere. People will come to you. Emerson said it best. If you can write a better book than your neighbor, or preach a better sermon to your neighbor, or build a better mousetrap than your neighbor, the world will make a beating path to your door. You don't have to go looking for people, right? And Ernest Hemingway said, write as well as you can and finish what you start. So whatever you do, be good at it, be great at it. And when you're great at it, you don't have to go anywhere. People will come to you and follow you straight up.
Absolutely. I love it. I love it.
Thank you.
So I want to know what is your we're almost ending, and do you have any closing remarks?
Frederick Douglass said it best, up you mighty people, you can accomplish what you will. And I want to say to the youth that, you know, every last one of you were born with a genius seed in you, right? Every last one of us was born with a gift. There are a lot more ordained ministers out of church than in church. You see somebody flipping burgers, that's an ordained minister. See somebody cleaning the streets, that's an ordained minister. There's no such thing as a menial job, right? But be still enough to know what your passion is. Be still enough to know what your calling is, right? And lean not towards your own understanding. Acknowledge God in all your ways and he will direct your path. So establish a relationship with God, establish a relationship with yourself. You true to whatever your calling is. Don't half step with anything. Just go full speed ahead with it. You see, because what a lot of people don't understand is the fact that we were ordained to do what we're doing before we were even born. God says in the Bible, before I formed you in the belly, I knew you, right? So we just have to be true to our calling once we find out what our calling is. And usually you know what your calling is because it's something that you're good at, right? It's something that you do well, something that you really are into. If you make people laugh all the time, well, guess what? There's a comedian. You know, if you're good with numbers, there's an accountant in. You know, if you're good with using your hands on cars, well, you're a mechanic, right? So it's about you just being true to what your calling is and not trying to get into something because it makes money or something because it's fashionable or whatever. No, be true to your calling because that's where true happiness is.
Okay, okay, awesome. So talk to that 50-year-old and he says, I'm still struggling. I can't get ahead. What are two principles that you live by that you can share?
Well, you know, struggling, just the word struggling alone is low vibration, you know, and what I would say to that individual, no, you're not in struggle. Don't own that, right? You know, we are where we are in life because of the decisions we've made and failed to make. It's about digging deep inside of yourself and making a better decision, right? Do self-reflection, reflect on yourself and say, okay, well, this is not working. Well, I need to do this. Well, that's not working. I need to do that, right? Don't pigeonhole yourself. You know, take a personal inventory of how you move. There's a quote that says, if the product doesn't sell, the product isn't wrong, it's you, right? So we need to look at ourselves and look into ourselves and say, you know what? I'm doing certain things wrong. I need to learn better. I need to study better. I need to work better. I need to be more diligent in my work so I can be more proficient and efficient, right? So don't own the whole struggle. That's low vibration way of speaking and thinking. No, just, you know, we're all blessed, right? So it's a matter of us just coming into our blessings, you know, and it takes work to do that. It takes work
Yes,
to do.
yes, yes. So you mentioned genius is common in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Tell our listeners why they would want to be a part of it, you know, and
Sure.
you share again why you started it.
Well, my Geniusiscommon movement, it actually got started from one of my quotes because I'm a master quotologist. And I would go around the country and I would ask the youth, when you hear the word genius, what image comes to mind? And they would always say Einstein or light bulb. And every now and then, Aerica would get a Jordan and that troubled me. And I said, you know what, let me write a quote about that. And the quote is, notwithstanding Einstein, genius is common. Then I turned into the slogan, Genius is common. It was turned into an entire movement. As we speak, we have a presence in all 50 states, 15 countries, with 35 ambassadors and growing. We're a YouTube video-based movement. We have 85 celebrities that actually did Geniusiscommon videos. We're in the cusp of breaking mainstream. So to answer your question, because when you join the Geniusiscommon movement, it enables you to look inside of yourself and find out what that genius seed is. And then you can water that seed, right? And then you have a whole movement behind you that's going to get your name and image out there and promote everything that you're doing. Because we're a YouTube video-based movement, we're a TikTok-based movement, and we're a Facebook group movement. And our website is geniusiscommon.com, and nothing is spelled funny. So that's why, because it's gonna transform the way you think and feel of yourself in relationship to the word genius. So when they say you're only a genius if you have 130, 140 IQ, it's pure nonsense, Aerica. That was an arbitrary number made up at Stanford University to make you 1% of the population, which is rooted in elitism. What they don't want you to know is that the true origin of the word genius doesn't just apply to intellect. Even Einstein said we're all geniuses. And if you were to judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it would spend its life believing that it's stupid. The philosopher Buckminster Fuller said that every child is born a genius, but the process of life de-geniuses them. The German philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer said the talent is a target that no one else can hit. The genius is a target that no one else can see. So we're the first movement to let the world know that the true origin of the word genius comes from the word genie out of Northern Africa. And that ain't wrong. And the genie is the guiding tutelary spirit within each of us. So the genius in us is the genie in us, and the genie in us is the God in us. We've been lied to. Look at the word genie in Genesis. Genesis is the beginning. God is the Alpha and the what? Omega. Look at the word genie in your genes. So the cat is out the bag and the jig is up. We're the first movement to take the elitism out of the word genius. That's why we are an anti-elitist movement. And we're doing well. We have a presence in all 50 states, 15 countries, 35 ambassadors and growing. You know, God is good. So the reason why they might want to join the movement is because it's going to enable them to share their genius with the entire world.
That is so wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. So listen, everybody, we have had on here Bruce George, and I am just so excited that you decided to join us. This is so amazing. People are going to have to upgrade to watch this interview again, because we have to dissect everything that you said in this, because it's just so wow. It's just wowing everyone.
Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. And I thank God for that.
Yes, yes. So share with all the people, if you want them to reach out in any type of way, how can they reach out to you on social media? Give whatever you'd like to give.
Yeah, I'm all over on Google. My name Bruce George is #1 on Google, and I'm Google verified. And the Geniusiscommon is #1 on Google as well. They can go to the website, geniusiscommon.com. And then there's a contact me section there. Contact me for counseling or whatever, coaching or what have you. So they can go to the website, and that's the way where they can reach out to me.
All right, y'all. And just tell them that you heard it from the Black Men Hill Summit.
Yeah, please do. Yes, please do mention it.
Yes,
so shout out to everybody, and I want to thank the listeners and the watchers for listening in and watching in. Again, I want to thank you, Aerica, for having me and inviting me to be a part of 100 Black Men Heal by way of Dr. Stan Harris, and I want to big up everybody. So thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So listen, everyone, you heard it from the wonderful Mr. George. My name is Aerica Karriem. I am your host of the Black Men Hill Summit. Make sure that you join us all the way until September the 30th. We will be here every morning at 9:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
God bless.